Okay, folks, welcome to this bi-weekly ZKsync delegates or proposal review call. Today we have mostly just a lot of updates on existing proposals on chain and a few that have been on the forum for a while. We have one new proposal that was posted on the forum earlier this week, and Rafael is here to say a few words about that. And the only other ecosystem update to share with you folks today is really more of an FYI of a new trend that we spotted on the ZKsync X account, like cool, fun way to keep up with things that are going on in the ZKsync ecosystem. So before we kick it off, I think most folks are aware, I do just want to mention here that my Telegram was compromised. So please block @thesheld on Telegram if you see them, and I'll write a note as well on the forum just to make sure everybody's aware to not interact with that individual. It's not me. So starting with our on-chain updates, we have first we have TPP-8, the ZKsync Community Activation Pilot. This proposal met quorum on Monday, meaning that the voting window has now been extended and will close on Monday, September 29th. Any questions on the Community Activation Program? Great. Okay, then moving on to TPP-9, which is also live for voting at the moment on chain right now as well. This proposal also met quorum on Monday, was also extended by 7 days, and will also end on Monday, September 29th. So yeah, both of those will conclude at the same time next week. Any questions on TPP-9, the ZKsync Prividium Prize Program? Okay, great. Then next up, we have just a few updates on some of the proposals that have been on the forum for a while here. ZIP-12 or the V29 upgrade, which will enable interop messaging and fast finality. Alicia, I'll put you on the spotlight here to provide a quick update on this one.
So my understanding is that Meta Labs is just working on the draft proposal now, and the goal is to have this submitted on chain by the end of this week or early next week. And then also the next one after that's at 13 will also hopefully go on chain next week as well.
Got it. Yeah, the other two zips that are on the forum at the moment, so V29, ZIP-12 is like the first one, and the other two cannot go on chain or /be like executed until ZIP-12 is executed. So just keep that in mind in terms of like there's a sequence to it, and in terms of like timeline when you can expect to see these things on chain, all that good stuff. It's conditional to ZIP-12.
Yeah, so I think if everything goes according to plan, those two should actually go through, say, like the voting period together, and then we're just going to be really conscious that the Security Council will approve 12 before 13, approve 12 and execute before approving 13, basically.
Great. So yeah, Alicia, any questions in regards to ZIP-12 or maybe ZIP-13? Besides when we can expect to see them? Okay, great. I'm just dropping the links in the chat here as well for anybody who has not, who maybe wants to add another note or question there on the forum as well. Then next up, we have, or this is the second zip I was referring to, is the upgrade to the ZK token contract that would enable burn functions, multiple. So this would be the public burn and the role gated burn and the public max supply. This one again is also conditional to the other upgrades.
I can speak to this for a second. So staking and burn are kind of like two of the core mechanics that can build up the design space on what what different token flows can be developed and integrated. So this proposal is will be a fast follow to ZIP 12 and likely ZIP 13. So yeah, just keep it in mind where this is still kind of like on a holding pattern since we have the other protocol upgrades coming through.
Any questions on the burn function? I know we've talked about it a few times, but might be some new questions. Or not, that's also fine. Great. Okay, then quick note on the staking, the ZKnomics token staking program. This is also just like waiting on a few final details, verifying like the cap minter deployment and all that fun stuff. Just trying to take the time here to make sure that everything is deployed correctly, given the kind of given the kind of elements of the program here and the staking contract that's involved. So yeah, but otherwise, Ralph, I don't know if there's any other major notes to share on this one, other than it will likely be coming soon or be submitted on chain soon.
I think one general note is that as the token mechanic components like become more advanced, so not just cap minters, but now rate limiters, and then like staking programs or new types of methods, they won't be like, if you think about the community activation program, which was a strict transfer of tokens, or the Roadshow, they look slightly different than when we're actually deploying contracts. So these go under, like, there's security reviews, there's audit like checks, and so on and so forth. So they might take a little bit more time in terms of just making sure that the security is up to par. So just a general comment there that, yeah, we're moving into the next phase of token mechanics, which is connecting cap minters to new types of logic contracts, which is super cool. But slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So we just need to make sure that we don't trip as we push onto kind of new types of functionalities.
Any questions in regards to the staking program? Folks, there was discussion last call when Cliff was here. If there's any more questions from the team?
I do have one general comment. If you guys have noticed, the staking program eligibility for rewards will be stakers need to delegate to active delegates. So active delegates are currently defined as at least voted in at least 2 of the last 5 votes. Everyone in this call who's listening right now or may listen later to the recording, I'd encourage you guys to really take that to heart, because those are the delegates that are going to be featured for potential stakers. So just an encouragement to continue active participation and governance.
Am I wrong? But it's kind of enabling permissionless staking, right?
Yeah, so it's permissionless staking. So anybody can stake, but the rewards only eligibility for rewards is limited to tokens which are active in governance.
I see.
This eligibility is obviously just for this specific pilot. There may be new eligibility that comes into play, but this really ensures that there is a system liveness, so that protocol upgrades are continued so the ecosystem as a whole is aware of the protocol upgrades and ratify them as needed.
Yeah, this is in line with the roadmap of ZKnomics, right?
Correct.
Sorry,
That's right.
I just had an hour to read this today, so I didn't read.
That's all. That's all
good.
good. This is it's not a rush. Mostly it's just an encouragement. If you haven't voted in the last couple of votes, I'd encourage you guys to vote on the 2 active votes which are right now, and that way you are eligible to be featured, right, as potential delegates.
I have a question. This proposal grants the burner role admin, right, to ZK protocol governor.
No,
For the token upgrade, yeah, for the permissionless burn, not
it's a
for the
separate. Yeah,
Oh,
staking
I
and
may
burner.
mixed it then. Okay.
The reason for that assignment of the role is that if when we do a protocol upgrade that may require burning tokens, the call data is further simplified because the protocol upgrade governor will have the role manager already in place.
Okay, so security and recovery, basically it's covered from an upgrade side, right? And compatibility. Okay.
Yeah. And just a reminder to folks here too, the burn here is a little different than what folks maybe traditionally are thinking of. It's more of like return to token contract. So you're not burning the tokens and like they're gone forever. You're unminting. So think of it more as like unminting and returning it to the original token contract.
Basically, the design allows right for protocol fee switching. Let's say between sequencer and interrupt fees, and right?
This proposal, no. That would be a future proposal, or what was the question?
That's the next step. Okay. Logical. Sorry.
Yeah, no, all good. Yeah, this is oh, I don't know why there's an echo now, but yeah, so like the token upgrade proposal is separate. The staking pilot is also separate. And a future staking program and like a fee switch proposal will be further down the line. These are just kind of some of like the first steps to start testing out infrastructure and processing, get the kind of role, the token contract and the protocol handler ready to be able to be ready for that when it comes.
Does this max supply affects any existing apps,
No.
integrations, exchanges, custodians, bridges?
So the only I think there will be opportunistic changes. So for example, Tally portal has a max supply, and they sometimes ask if there's like an on-chain like method to call that. So we might tell Tally, hey, you can pull that number from here moving forward, but it doesn't really have any impact on any of the current relationships or anything like that. All the platforms and all of the partners are aware that the cap was 21 billion forever. So there's no significant changes there.
So we have, let's say, ZK holders or dApps or anything that they would not have to do anything. It's fully transparent upgrade for end users.
That's right.
Okay.
Correct. Okay. If there are no other questions in regards to staking or the burn function zip, we can move on to, these are actually two new proposals that we didn't talk about on the last call. So the first one is the ZKsync Prividium Roadshow proposal, which was posted, I guess, at the end of the week of the last call. So like shortly after the last call, it must have been. And then we have the ZKsync Governance System Infrastructure Funding proposal that was posted earlier this week. So to start off with the ZKsync Prividium Roadshow proposal, this was posted by Ben a few weeks ago, and this is just another one of the proposals out of the foundation proposal pipeline that they've been working on. This proposal focuses on securing like sponsorships and speaking slots for key ZKsync representatives at key, not only Ethereum conferences, but also like traditional, like kind of more TradFi like conferences to get in front of and spread the word to more traditional institutions and potential enterprise clients for Prividium. There hasn't been a lot of questions or a lot of interactions with this on the forum, and we have also, the governance team hasn't really heard anything here, but curious if there's any questions or comments folks wanted to share about this one. Rafa, if you wanted to also share something.
Yeah, so I sat down with Marco and Ben to discuss this a little bit. Must have been a couple of weeks ago when it was submitted. I think it's worthwhile to accentuate something that was very compelling, at least to me, which was the way that they're thinking about Prividium growth is that this proposal works in collaboration with the Prividium Prize and the community activation. So while the community activation is scaling grassroots awareness, the Prividium Roadshow is basically institutional visibility. And then the Prividium Prize is kind of like this like magnetic pull to get to mainnet deployment for basically mature institutions. That to me was really compelling as kind of like an overarching strategy, and something that I think it would be good for other ecosystems to also adapt, which is how the foundation is thinking about these proposals is as a cohesive narrative overall, not just like proposals individually, but how do proposals actually compound value between each other. So now with the Roadshow, this is institutional visibility, where they will talk about the Prividium Prize, where advocates from the community will also be supporting and potentially having events or having educational activities at the same time. So you have a better growth flywheel with regards to kind of the enterprise sales cycle overall. I found that really compelling. And when I had a conversation with L2 Beat as well. I think it was last week or this week, where we spoke about the fact that it's very much needed, right? Prividium as a brand is kind of the flagship brand, which is building on ZKsync. And whenever someone talks about ZK, they need to automatically like connect that to Prividium and ZKsync. So I don't know, I found that really compelling and wanted to share that with folks.
Anybody have any comments or questions? Ben's unfortunately not on the call today, but happy to relay anything to the foundation. Or also obviously feel free to post it on the forum as well. Okay, great. Yeah, also curious like to see, I think this would be kind of cool to see, just give some like firepower to get like kind of like get ZKsync out there a little bit more, and especially like with now like all these private blockchains and like other things popping up too. It's I think it's like an interesting time to have put Prividium like at the forefront. So curious to see how, if this one gets through and how it will be used, the impact it could have. Okay, then if there's no questions there, we can move on to the latest proposal that was posted on the forum earlier this week, the ZKsync Governance System Infrastructure Funding Bill. And I will actually pass the mic over to Rafa for this one.
Yeah, I think this one is very relevant to delegates and to the team here. So kind of the ZKsync Association, so that's where the governance team sits, is basically requesting to like administrative funding for a bunch of different services which maintain governance live. This is structured a little bit differently than maybe in other ecosystems. So first off, like the cap minter, even though the ZKsync Association would be administering it, the cap minter is basically for distribution of tokens to all the core pieces of governance infrastructure. So this includes like the governance portal on Tally. It includes cap minter and minter modifier development, so smart contract development for the cap minters, but also the governance contracts, security audits, legal work for regulatory compliance in multiple jurisdictions, whether it be Korea, whether it be Europe, whether it be the US, and basically engaging with each of these entities via ZK GPS. This really supports like ongoing decentralization. So one thing that's important here is that if you take the governance portal, for example, they'll be contracting with ZK GPS, which is basically contracting with the token assembly. And that's kind of cool because it's a slightly different like administrative model and much more decentralized. And then there's a long laundry list. I did my best to include basically all the different services that are basically core infrastructure for governance. I would also like to point out in general that when I did the research for this proposal, alongside the governance team, typically an organization for another, like for similar type of chains, they might be asking for, I don't know, a lot more funding, I would say. Some comparative benchmarks were, basically kind of like 5x of spending versus how ZKsync is considering the allocations, which I think is a testament to the fact that we run really lean. Even the governance team at ZKsync is 3 people. This doesn't include salaries or any ZKsync administrative stuff. This is purely for the infra. But I think this is a testament to both the transparency, but also the cost effectiveness of how we're thinking about governance infrastructure execution, which is we like to run lean and we like to make sure that the service providers feel a level of confidence and security supporting the ecosystem over the next year and a half. So this is about 18 months. So I know that most people have probably not read this. So I don't know if you guys have a lot of questions, but definitely feel free to let me know.
Am I wrong that ZKsync Association governance team is now in a way program administrator and executor?
For this proposal, we would be the cap minter administrators and the program administrators for this proposal specifically. Not for any others. We don't do program administration. We only deal with governance. So we don't do program administration for any programs.
And there is 20% buffer, right?
Yeah. So we added a 20% buffer.
How do you tap into buffer? I mean, this is logical that there is no explanation.
Maybe just to something that might have been confusing here when you see the buffer is this isn't a token price buffer, it's a scope buffer for the work. So maybe Rafa wants to talk a bit about that.
Sure, yeah, I would add to it, like how it will influence the price if ZK raises or falls, does it link to USD benchmark or it's remains fixed in ZK?
So our approach for this is that the budget is calculated in USD in stable, and we've converted that to a ZK, and we've added basically a 20% buffer to to just make sure that we just don't know what else might happen. But I'll talk first about the budget. So the budget is calculated specifically in USD, and we're converting to ZK for the token allocation request. If the token price goes up, we don't spend that money. we are only spending the money that the budget has included. And if the token price goes down, we will do our best to continue being ultra conservative with the spending. And yeah, there is a possibility we have to go back to the token assembly to ask for additional funding, but I don't see that as being the case. Does that answer your question, Ines?
Partially, I'm also not clear on if we see that the forecast is 1.65, right?
Yeah.
And then from it references to January to August where it was 2.9, which is what's the difference for 3 months and for 8 months?
Well,
I mean, what does it mean?
Well, launching a governance system is far more expensive than maintaining it. So from January to August 2025, that was 3 million USD estimated. It was potentially higher. We used quite conservative estimates for that. We believe the maintenance, we're budgeting 1.65. I hope that we won't end up spending that much, but that's like what we forecasted for the next from September until December. The reason why there's a big difference is that, especially in legal infrastructure, you can see a significant difference, as well as like smart contract development. It's far more expensive than doing the first round of the smart contract infrastructure than just maintaining that infrastructure in play.
What happens if cap minter is compromised?
Why would the cap minter be compromised? Like you would follow. There are multiple levels of control here. If this cap minter is compromised, you would probably have a larger issue, which is you might have multiple cap minters compromised. So that would be problematic. But the stopgap for this for the cap minter compromise here would be an emergency action from the Security Council, similar to the
So there are tools existing in the place to.
Actually, if I maybe could jump in here and just highlight a few things about how
I think Eve, I don't know who's Eve, but raise the hand.
No, it's on another topic. I'll let you finish this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just to quickly like go over how the cap minter structure is set up here. So this diagram, the information's in the table, but
wait 1 second, Shelby. Before we move into that, any other questions with regards to the budget calculation or the scope before we dive into the technical components of the cap minter structure?
I just have one, I don't know, I think it's logical question. We're mentioning Mika and stuff that are rather leading to like centralization than to decentralization. How do we ensure that we remain decentralized?
So for example, for Mika,
I know it's a cloud question.
Well, I mean, the whole point is that we, like, number one, this is governance, operations, and infrastructure. The program is intentionally designed so that the program contracts legally and the contracts which will be doing the token allocations will not be purely in control by the ZKsync administration, but they will be the legal contracts are with ZK GPS, which is with the token assembly. And the token allocations per those engagement letters with each of them are basically the association is serving as a kind of steward to like help allocate them. But then, ZK GPS, which is a token assembly legal entity, is the one that's driving it. That's actually a really, really important piece, which is we are decentralizing the governance process through this.
I wonder, though, if the question is more like the option is for the Gov team as a centralized kind of team to execute on this spec, or for it to basically be like an RFP situation for almost like every single like bullet point of the specification. And so I guess I just want to understand, I have like my understanding of why this approach is best versus that second approach. But I just wanted to understand, when you say striving towards decentralization versus being centralized, is it because you view like more parties trying to execute a broader range of scope as a project being decentralized? Or is it because, okay, it is interesting. Do you view the number of delegates, like more delegates that a project has voting, to be decentralized? Or that doesn't matter? Who asked the question, Inez? And then the third question after that is,
No,
you
you're
view,
totally on point. I just didn't go that.
okay,
You're
so, and then
totally on point. Yes,
the
yes.
third thing is, do you view the number of delegators who are delegating voting power to the delegates to be decentralized? Is that important or is that not important? So in my opinion, based on my lived experience in governance, my order of decentralization is the opposite of those three. So it's voting power first, delegate second, and work third. My opinion is that decentralized execution of work leads to extremely mediocre outcomes. And if you're striving for excellence, decentralization happens where the power, like where the voting power is concentrated, not at the execution layer. So I think that is kind of the approach that we're going for here. So, and maybe you could contrast this. I don't know how much context people have for things like Arbitrum and their DAO, but I would say that's an example where, like, I don't really know that they have or had initially.
I think the Lido DAO has the same issue.
Sure,
So the same question, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the thing is like we like strongly believe that decentralization is a core value. I don't know if you guys you've heard AG talk about it, right? He's like, he feels very strongly about these things. So it's in the bedrock of ZKsync. But this is like a really good space. This governance space is a really good space in a proposal like this to kind of just align on where the decentralization is happening and what is the process that leads to the best, most excellent outcome, and just making sure that everyone's comfortable with that. And if people aren't, like, I hope that we talk about it on these calls.
Ines, did you get your questions answered?
Yeah, personally, I think I understand where it goes on the roadmap. Of course, there are some fears. Can you mind how the market goes? But I guess we will see. Would we fall under being mediocres or really strive for something more than that?
Yeah, no, it's great questions and great points to bring up. Ivy, I'll let you ask your question. The only thing I was going to mention on the our point out here was just like the safeguards that are put in place through the token mechanic that was developed for this proposal in case it was hacked, which if we don't have to talk about it if there's no like interest in it, but the way this is set up is like to make sure that even if something is compromised, cat minter is compromised, that there's safeguards in place so that folks the same thing can't happen again, like what happened with the airdrop. Ivy, you go ahead.
Yeah. So I think this is really interesting, actually, and personally. Like in our DAOs, you'd expect this proposal to come maybe from labs side, right? Or maybe, I don't know, some service provider. So just the governance team, getting to own the development of cap minters, which are core to the governance. I think it's pretty interesting. So we'll see how that goes, I guess. I had a question regarding the scope, regarding security audits, because I recall TPP-3. I'm just wondering why you guys decided to take this into your scope and not,
Yeah, so a lot of the security audit stuff that we will be doing won't be in protocol upgrades. Like if you think about like a cap minter like security audit, like it's not going to go through a protocol upgrade. So we had to make a decision, but it's basically we added a disclaimer. There's not going to be double dipping. So like if an audit goes through protocol upgrade and we've already audited it, a good example here is the token burn utility like upgrade. That's just not going to be, there's not going to be any request from the audit reimbursement section. I know that requires a certain level of trust on our side because, you know, hypothetically we could submit it like for reimbursement. But we just kind of acknowledge that the majority of security just for governance doesn't go through protocol upgrades because it's like a modular approach to governance that we're following. It's not like a continuous system upgrade the same way that protocols go.
That's cool. Thanks for the clarification, guys.
Yeah, and like think like the cat minter, like all of the minter mods that have been being developed and audited, etc., that also like would fall under this bucket as well.
Oh, can I just like say one thing about the cat minters as well? Is that every time there is, I don't know what, I have to find out what the threshold is, but, and maybe I shouldn't say it for security reasons, but Hypernative is used by the Security Council to monitor like all token mints, basically. It feels like that. So every time something happens, the Security Council, I'm not even exaggerating, within seconds, at least like 2 to 3 members have commented like in the communication channel that they have that is constantly monitoring like all ZK token mints. So which is really different from the situation that we were in a couple months ago, and this was something that was implemented like after we went through the April incident. So yeah, I hope everyone can also just like take comfort from that, which there was a system set in place and it has been like extremely effective just based on when we see proposals going on chain and cat minters minting tokens and things, there is always messages from the Security Council. So yeah.
And also just Ivy, for your first comment you had on the governance team owning the cat minter stuff, I think it's extremely fair to say that we're probably the experts at this time. And for this proposal, obviously we deployed the cat minters and we advise and help support other folks deploy the cat minter structure. But the goal is to also have other folks be able to do this. We want the design to come from, you know, the teams and the folks who are designing or authoring these proposals. We would like to just be like the advisors, and just because
I feel like it's not even like that as much, because I feel like as a Gov team, we are putting this proposal forward as delegates. You can vote for it or not vote for it. You know, like we are like Shelby said, like we think that we're the experts because we created the system. But if you don't feel that as delegates, then you shouldn't support the proposal effectively, and that's also good to know. But I think that is like how you should think about every proposal, which is just like when you vote for, you are voting in support of this team executing this spec. That's it.
Yeah, I guess I was talking about something completely just separately, not in relation to this. I was just saying like for like cat minter, we don't like own cat minters. Anybody can deploy cat minters, but
oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I need to drop. Please feel free to DM me on Telegram, send me emails, whatever it is, post on the forum, any of your concerns. I spent a ridiculous amount of time actually going line by line to make sure that we are lean and effective, because you know Alicia likes to call it that we have like very much founder culture. We're extremely aggressive with how we think about governance at like a 10x level compared to other ecosystems. Yeah, I feel very confident that this is the right approach, and that we should be managing it this way. So definitely send me a note if you need to. I do need to drop. Apologize for that. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Rafa. And yeah, like leave comments on the forum, but also I know a lot of you have our contacts. Don't DM me on Telegram. But Rafa or others, feel free to reach out. Happy to also like set up a call and chat if you guys want that as well. Really open. Okay, then that is actually all we have for proposal updates. In regards to the two on-chain ones, just a reminder, because I think I forgot to say it in the beginning, voting is still open. So if you haven't voted yet, please go do that before Monday next week. And for these other proposals on the forum here, we'll keep you updated when when they're planned to be submitted on chain. The last item I had on the agenda was just a quick shout out, or like an FYI. Here, the ZKsync X account, which I'm sure a lot of you already follow, but recently they started doing these really cool like Roundup threads. And I noticed, and this one was from a few days ago, but it's essentially like, or no, from Friday last week. Like it's like a weekly roundup of like all the cool stuff that happened in the ecosystem that week. So they like talk about like the Gravity Series A, the Dune RWA report, like collaborations with different ZK chains like Space and Time and other projects, Abstract, an update from Abstract, just different stuff like happening in the
Who's point of contact for the to send information to?
Sorry?
Was it changed a few times? Who's the point of contact to send the news, the information?
It's a really good question. I am not sure. I can
Yeah, it was changed like 5 times. So I cannot keep up anymore.
Yeah, no, we can ask and can let you know. Enos, I honestly don't know. I just thought this was a helpful thread that they started posting on the ZKsync X account. Just wanted to call it out. But yeah, that's all I had in regards to updates for this week. Did anybody else have anything they wanted to share or any questions in regards to governance or stuff that's going on in the ecosystem at the moment? I see, wait, somebody had a question in the Singapore. I'm not. I don't know if anybody else is. Anybody will be in Singapore. Oh, that was actually, that does remind me, one quick note in regards to not Singapore, but to Buenos Aires later this year. Just as last year, I will be involved in helping coordinate the Governance Geeks Community Hub. They have like different community hubs at the main venue at DevCon and Devconnect. And I was one of the main coordinators last year, also one of the main coordinators this year, and the hub got accepted this year, which is really cool and really exciting. But that's a big undertaking, and so I'll be pretty preoccupied with that. I also will be flying solo this year in Argentina at Devconnect. Rafa and Alicia will not be there, so that also means just given capacity constraints, we probably won't have a delegate meetup like we have had in past at past bigger events like this. But we'll definitely keep you guys updated on all the details for the Gov Geeks Community Hub. Please come hang out and we can have chats there. If you were around at DevCon, you kind of notice like that just kind of became like the spot, like governance people hung out, so we can definitely do that and maybe have like an informal ZKsync delegate chat there. But just given I'll be out there alone and we'll have a little bit some capacity constraints, won't be able to host a separate delegate meetup this time, but we'll do more in the future. Okay, anything else, anyone? All right, then we can wrap it up then for this week. Thank you everyone for joining and for your questions, and yeah, your continued participation here, always appreciated. Hope you folks have a great week. We'll have call notes and recording up tomorrow. Oh, we'll also, there's no group to share the notifications in. We'll create a new group just because I was the admin of the ZKsync delegate announcements Telegram group. We'll come up with a new solution and we'll create a new group and share the information with folks. Otherwise, just keep an eye on the forum for the notes and recording that will be posted sometime tomorrow. Yeah, great. Thank you, folks, and have a great rest of your week. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.